Hi, it's Natalie. This video series is How Do I Cook That? And today we are making simple kale chips. This recipe is going to make about 4 snack-sized servings. If you want to eat more, then maybe only will make 2 servings depending on how much you eat. So you're going to start off with a big bunch of kale. My favorite kind of kale to make kale chips is Tuscan kale. These are the long, narrow, kind of flat leaves versus the kale that you might see is the curly kale, and that's a little bit shorter. It's real curly and fluffy. If you can't find Tuscan kale, I have used the other kind of kale to make kale chips, and it works great. This one makes a little bit crispier texture though, so that's why I like these. So you're going to thoroughly wash your kale and pat it dry or use a salad spinner and get all of the moisture off. That's really important. If it's wet at all when you put it into the oven, then it's going to steam it rather than really bake it, and so you're not going to get that crispy texture that you're looking for in a chip. So let me show you how you're going to, after it's washed and dried, how to prep the kale leaf so that it's ready to go into the oven. And I'm going to get close to you so you can see this. So you're going to take your Tuscan kale leaf and you're going to fold it in half. So you just see, let me put that there, now you can see the stem. So you're going to fold it just so the stem and the leaves are folded in. You're going to tear the top section off away from the stem. So you see that, how it's kind of hanging over? And then you're going to keep tearing. And then about when you get, a good bit off of the thick stem, just pinch and squeeze and pull down. And it's going to come off the stem. So then you're just left with a thick stem and you have your curly leaf without the stem. And that way you're not biting into something really crunchy when the kale chip is ready to eat. Okay, so I have prepped most of the kale leaves already. So once you get to this point, you can go ahead and tear it in half or tear it in 4s, really depending on how long it is. And let me do these last 2 here. I'm gonna tear down, squeeze and pull, tear in half, and really you don't have to be perfect because they're all gonna kind of shrivel up anyways. Okay, squeeze, pull, and then tear in half. All right, so then we are going to take our bowl and our kale leaves, and we are going to mix in 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And we are cooking these kale leaves at a pretty low temperature, so you can use extra virgin olive oil. Before I use the rest of the oil, I'm just giving it a little bit of toss so that it all gets kind of coated. Okay, so I'm going to give it another toss here. If for some reason you don't get enough olive oil that you can see leaves that aren't coated, just add a tiny bit more olive oil. Or even better are those oil misters. I have one of those, and that works really nice when you just want to use a light amount of oil. Okay, it looks like everything is pretty evenly coated. And the nice thing too when it's dry is it soaks up the oil versus if the leaves are wet, then it's going to repel the oil. Okay, and then we're going to do some sea salt. I made these for the first time a few months ago, or at least for my 3-year-old, and he had never had kale chips before, and I had to like pull them away from him because he kept eating too many, which is not a bad thing, but there wasn't enough for me or my husband. Okay, a little bit more salt here. Total of salt is going to be about 3/4 of a teaspoon. Okie dokie, that is all you need. Okay, so I have my baking sheet here, have some parchment paper on it, and I just like parchment paper because that really just makes for easy cleanup. It's just not going to stick to the pan don't have to sit there at the sink and scrub. Okay. Try to get it all in a single layer, because if it's overcrowded or they're piled up on each other, that can also keep them from getting crispy. So really try to get them in a single layer. All right. Now this is going to go into our preheated 275-degree oven, and it's going to bake for about 20 minutes. Okay, so our kale chips are done. They were just in the oven at 275 for about 22 minutes. So I'm going to go grab them, and we can put them now in our serving dish. I don't know if you can hear it, but they are crispy. So be real careful. Treat them fragilely so that they won't all crumble. And what's so great about these is you're going to get so much less calories from kale chips versus regular chips, but you still get that salty crunch. So it can definitely help curb any cravings that you might be having for something crunchy and salty. Not to mention, kale is loaded with vitamins and minerals, has fiber in it as well. So just really a great choice when you're kind of in the mood for a chip. So a serving of these kale chips is about 2 ounces. It's going to give you about 50 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, mainly because of the olive oil that we use on it. No saturated fat. It does have quite a bit of sodium depending on how much you use, 440 milligrams of sodium per serving if you use the 3/4 teaspoon of salt on the entire bunch, 4 grams of carbohydrates, and 1 gram of fiber, and then 1 gram of protein. So I hope you enjoy these. See you next time. Bye-bye. So good. See you next time. Bye-bye.